I'm here this morning with Ryan Truax here in Belton, Texas. Ryan, on March 1, Election Day, you wanted to go vote. Tell me your story. What on earth happened?
Well, me and my wife both wanted to vote, actually. She's not here today, but neither one of us got to vote, so we went
How does that happen?
Well, I'm not sure. So we showed up at the polling place, and our plan was that one of us would stay in the car because we have 4 kids, and we would take turns.
Okay.
So showing up there was obviously quite a line, so we were prepared to stay a while. But walking up to get in line, people were walking back the other way, and they told me that they had run out of Republican ballots, and you could only vote if you were a Democrat. And I kind of figured, I don't believe this person. I'm not just going to turn around because someone says you're not going to be able to vote. It's some kind of scam or something.
This is America.
Yeah, it sounded really crazy. So I went and stood in line for about 20 minutes. And then someone came out of the building and said, "We are out of ballots for Republicans." And so
who was this person?
Someone working inside. I didn't ask their name. I was in line quite a few folks back. And they said...
standing out in the weather,
yeah,
which it was a pretty day.
Yeah, it was a nice day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was making conversation with folks. So.
Sure.
But they said, if you want to vote Democrat, come on in. And so everyone, pretty much one person walked up there. But that was rather kind of insulting and to me. And anyways, that that was about 5:30 at that time, maybe close to 6 o'clock. And so... there was, they tell people that they have to close the doors at 7, but they don't have any more ballots, so all we could do was stand there. So, and the gentleman behind me said he had just come from another polling location at the same deal. So he came from another one because they couldn't vote there, and the one out in Troy and couldn't vote there either. So,
Ryan, how many people were standing in line? What would your guess be?
Probably about 2.5 dozen folks.
So 24, 36, something like that?
Yeah, and Troy's a really small community, so
okay.
It's, I don't know how big the other polling locations were that had the same, issue, but it was more than one, so that's pretty incredible that was an issue, so.
They gave no further explanation other than they were just out of ballots. They gave you no options of how they were going to resolve the problem?
They just said by law they got to close the doors at 7, and that's all they could say about that, which to me by law we're supposed to be able to vote.
Right. The law, my understanding is correct. If you are standing in line at 7 o'clock, they mark who the last person is. And if they have to stay there till 6 in the morning for everybody in line to vote that was in line at 7, or whatever cutoff time that would require, they have the right to vote.
Well, they did say something like that, but they said we had to fit in the building. So those people, they said they have to lock the door, and there was already people, all in there, and they didn't. The thing they said is, everyone they kept asking is, are they going to get more ballots? And they didn't know if they were going to get more ballots. They said they were trying to get more ballots, but apparently whoever they get the ballots from wasn't giving them any kind of response. So,
wow. I gotta ask you, as an American, how did that feel not being able to vote?
Awful. My voice isn't being heard. Like my rights are being ripped away from me.
Yeah. And your wife, I assume, had never got out of the car.
No, she couldn't believe it when I went back in the car and told her.
Oh my. So since that time, have you spoken with others that had a similar situation? What is the mood or the feel in the community about what happened?
People were upset, obviously. People just don't understand how that can happen. They just really, a lot of confusion and frustration, and people want to see something change because people are obviously concerned about that happening again. A lot of people don't feel like there's anything they can do about it, which is really sad, and that's why I came today.
Helpless feeling. Helpless feeling.
Exactly.
Okay. has there been anything in the local news from the county election office about what happened?
The only thing I saw in the news was there's one polling place in Killeen that ran out of Democratic ballots. That made the news.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, nothing about any of the other ones, so.
Wow. Oh my goodness. All right. Anything else that you want to add to your experience of not being able to vote?
Kind of made you feel like a criminal a little bit for some reason or another. But I think that's about
Deny your rights
Yeah.
denied. Yeah.
Exactly.
And a
Rights
criminal's rights are denied them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Ooh, interesting parallel there for sure. So this was in Troy.
In Troy.
Where is Troy? Where? Since I'm not familiar with this area.
Troy is, see, it's in between Temple and Waco, closer to Temple.
Population of?
I think it's like 1,200 right now.
Okay, all right. Just a typical Texas-sized little community. And to run out of ballots. Did it seem like there was a large run on the poll that day, with more than usual? But they expected that.
I definitely heard there's, people were really like passionate about getting out. It seemed like more so than, normal people really wanted to get out and vote. So I guess maybe there was higher turnout or whatnot than they expected, but still, I mean, to run out
Yeah.
like a lot, that's,
Without asking who you hoped to vote for, did some of the candidates that you had in mind potentially not win their
by a
election?
very small margin, yes.
By a small margin. Wow. So then that's even more frustrating.
Yeah, I think the margin was around 100 votes.
Wow.
So,
Wow. So all those people standing in line at various locations could have made a world of difference
well, I
in
mean,
the outcome.
there technically could have been that many people just at our polling location. I'm not saying they all would have voted for the one candidate I'm talking about, but I would say probably at least 100 people got turned away from there, because just when I was there, there's already people leaving. Before I even got in line, they were leaving for that reason, and people
Wow.
definitely came after I left. So.
And I have to ask, especially of the older voters, it's hard for them to stand for a long time or to be out in the elements. Did you see that a tendency for the older people to maybe leave quicker or to not wait, or is it a young community? I could,
It's both. There
Okay.
was all ages in line for sure. I did notice people inside sitting down. When I came, there wasn't. I couldn't say for sure, because when I came in line, there wasn't too many older folks standing out
Okay.
there. Now, people that talked to me when I was walking in, they were, older, and they were leaving obviously because they couldn't vote. So I don't know how long they had been standing there.
So you eventually made it inside the building?
I
No.
never made it in. I was wrapped kind of around the edge of the building, and we were all kind of scooting closer and closer, but
It was just compacting and no one going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. It's just hard to fathom that this actually occurred in Texas, in the United States of America. Wow. Who would have thought? Makes me think of the countries where people were so proud of getting their purple finger, because they were able to vote and they marked, and it's kind of like you would have liked to have had a purple finger that day.
I wanted the little sticker.
Oh, absolutely. That's true. That's true. Ryan, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think that's about it.
All right. I appreciate your time, and thank you for sharing your unbelievable experience at trying to vote and do your American thing.
I appreciate you covering the story.
Thank you.